Professor Bob Peckett, this who was a coroner's witness, said, you know, the clinical evidence suggests to me that Mr. Lewis was terrified, that he was paranoid and scared rigid of the thought of restraint as he thought of it in a straitjacket. But by extension, I think being locked into a seclusion room or being restrained in a similar way would have been exactly the same effect. And I think that his terror must have greatly added to his psychological disturbance, that his heart rate increased, his muscles contracted, and the effects of his body chemistry changed. So Seni was restrained over a period, 2 restraints over a period of about 45 minutes. And the police did it in 2 sets. So they had some police officers restraining first. And then they, in the inquest, they said, oh, we were so hot. We had to ask for water. Oh, we had to take our jackets off. And even the coroner said, didn't you think about the person you were restraining? That they might be hot and need water and need, you know, obviously not. All sense had gone, you know, had flown out of, you know, as out of the window. They were not capable of thinking that. So 2 sets of restraint. And when Seni went limp, his body went limp, they thought he was faking it. He was pretending. So they left him on the floor of the seclusion room, locked the door. Well, actually, the door slammed, locked. They had to look for the key, realized he wasn't moving, found the key, went in there and administered CPR. And they're very good at that. They resuscitate you, or you think they've resuscitated your loved one, and then they take them to the hospital where they pronounce them dead. Now, we found out at the inquest that if they had performed CPR when Seni went limp, instead of ignoring the fact and thinking that he had faked it, pretended, that his life might have been saved. The Lewis family were very honored to be asked to write the foreword for the Restraint Reduction Network handbook, and we did it, and it's quite a read. I think if you haven't read it, you should read it. It's quite traumatic. We as a family feel that it's really important that restraint is either eliminated or minimized. I can't think of any family that would want to go through what we went through. And I can't think of anybody who administers restraint would want to feel how it must feel if you restrain somebody and they die. I just don't think you get up in the morning and say, oh, you know, that's my aim. No, you don't. But because there's such a thin line between life and death, it just takes a second for that to happen, to restrain inappropriately or unnecessarily for too long a period, and a person dies. It's something that I don't think anybody wants on their conscience. I feel that really there are ways of de-escalating situations, and I know there are other ways of achieving the same result. It's just how, it's just thinking out of the box. It's just stepping back and thinking, oh, wow, we heard about Seni Lewis and how he was restrained and how he died. Look, there must be another way. And there are other ways. I just feel that human rights issues are sort of impinged. You know, people are restrained, especially during this COVID period. They've been restrained. We're hearing more stories of people being restrained, excessive restraint on mental health patients, on autistic patients, on dementia patients. I just know that it's people's first thing that they think about, you know, especially maybe if they want to administer drugs, you know, I know that's what they will think about. Oh, you know, we'll restrain, but it's dicey. It's dicey. And I really wouldn't like anybody to feel what we feel, and they've had to put, you know, had to overcome, you know, our feelings of horror and sadness. And yeah, I really would urge people not to restrain if at all possible.